Hi, this is Shadi, and today I have a very interesting story to share and discuss with you, and that is the story of the rivalry between the Gracie brothers and the Ono brothers. This story, in my opinion, is one of the most vital piece of evidence of how BJJ came to be, why they favored the ground game, one of the few missing pieces that makes the image far more clear, and it's a story that it has to be shared. Here you see in front of you in the newspapers Yasuichi Ono preparing for his fight against Helio Gracie, and he's warming up with a triangle choke. This is 1935, so the triangle choke was pretty much a new thing in judo, but yet it made it to Brazil by the Ono brothers. And this story, like I said, it's a very interesting story. It's actually a two-part videos in Portuguese made by Malibu Jiu Jitsu, the channel is called, and one of the people that listened to my work offered a translation of the events and the results and how this rivalry came to be. And I'm very thankful because this story needs to be told in English so it can reach a far larger audience, and like I said, a vital piece of evidence. So the story goes that, this is according to Fabio Quio, the story goes that the Ono brothers were not happy working at the plantations in Brazil. They complained about the conditions, that they were almost like slavery, so they had to move to Sao Paulo. And according to Yasuichi Ono, in an interview in 1933, he won a fight, and with the money he won because of that fight, he started to invest in a kiosk or a street stand in the market, and he realized that he can make a lot of money fighting. So in March of 1934, the first fight was registered by Ono, and in October the same year he built a team very similar to Maeda and Satake, of a team that were going around the state of Sao Paulo. They were called the Landori Shomukan, and there they would make demonstrations and also accept challenges of whoever would come and challenges them. So because of this tour became so popular and so successful, it attracted the attention of many people, including the media, and hence the Gracie family. So in 1935, the first ever Ono versus Gracie fight was arranged, and it was Helio against the older brother Yasuichi. And the rules were no points, only decided by submission, or you forfeit or throw in the towel. Ono prepared to fight Helio, and he trained with both Jeio Omori and Takeo Yano, and the result was a draw. However, the fight was incredibly fantastic. Yasuichi Ono threw Helio Gracie in a total of 32 throws, but could not submit him. So when someone like Henner or Hiron said that my grandfather likes to survive and not tap out, they were not joking. However, you could have thrown him easily because he was tall and lanky. So the next year a rematch happened, and it wasn't very much different from the first one. It was a draw. Ono could not tap out Helio, but threw him a total of 27 times, which is incredible in my opinion. So this rivalry continued. It was all done in gi. You had also George Gracie, since 1934 cut all ties from the Carlos and Helio brother schooling and teaching, and he started challenging the Ono brothers on his own. So because Yasuichi won the first match by submission against George Gracie demanded a rematch, but Yasuichi Ono said that he would have to fight my younger brother Naoichi in order to qualify to fight me for a rematch. So Naoichi, who was 55 kilograms in weight, he was 10 kilograms lighter than George. George was around 65 kilos or 145 pounds. Naoichi was disqualified for misunderstanding the rules. So George earned his rematch finally, and he was far more experienced against Yasuichi this time. So George won because Yasuichi threw strikes in the match, which was prohibited, and he got disqualified, and thus Gracie won the match. So George gave Naoichi a rematch, the younger brother this time, and this time he won by points because they agreed to have points in case the match went to a draw. So they decided on a point system. And then in 1939, George went against Naoichi another time, and this time Naoichi lost by a choke. So George Gracie won by a tap out via a chokehold, and this was the last time the Ono and the Gracies met. So this story, as you see, it is, first of all, it is amazing, back and forth challenges, so many fights, disqualifications by chokes, a draw, etc. You can see the change in the rules as the rivalry progressed. You can see also the like a foreshadowing of now the point system, the rules, etc. Before it was all just submission and forfeit, and now they were introduced to the points system. And also one vital piece of the story is that the Ono brothers, before they left Japan, they were a student of Kanemitsu Yaichi, which is the inventor of the triangle choke and the knee bar. So this further proves this theory that one of the most influential judokas in the Gracie realm, or for the Gracie lineage, is Kyoto judokas, the judokas that were far more invested in the ground aspect, but nonetheless they could do takedowns. Big proof is that he threw Helio a total of 32 times. So they were both very talented on the ground and also stand up, but nonetheless the Gracie brothers were also talented, taking the fight to a draw and eventually winning by a choke, so on and so forth. So this story, in my opinion, is very important because now with the whole thing with Robert Drysdale going on, and with the whole thing that the origins of Jiu-Jitsu and Maeda, etc., this piece of evidence is very important because it shows that, first of all, the story is far less simple than people make it out to be, like Maeda came and he taught us, etc. But it's also that many people came back and forth, challenges, how coincidentally they caught the attention of the media and then the Gracie attention, and they brought in the triangle choke. The triangle choke was documented in the newspaper. All of this is just, in my opinion, incredible. It's not just, like I said, a romanticized simple story, and we as humans, we tend to get attracted to these simple romanticized stories even in our daily lives. For example, you grew up with some hardships, etc. Once you get to your job or your career you want, everything will just magically be okay, and we all know that's not true. Or once you meet the love of your life, everything is like magic and you're happy-go-lucky. Again, that's not true. Life is far more complicated than that. There's so much gray in it. The story is a big proof about this origin story of BJJ. You have Takeo Yano in the Northeast, you have Gio Omori, you have Maeda teaching Jacinto Ferro and then teaching the Gracies. You have the Ono brothers bringing a vital piece of Newaza to Brazil, especially that photo of the triangle choke. In my opinion, it should belong to a museum, in my opinion, and it paints a clearer picture of how this whole thing came to be, the point system, why the Brazilians favored the ground. It was the Kyoto judokas that heavily influenced them. This whole thing is just so amazing. Once again, thank you for Malibu Jiu Jitsu for documenting, talking about this, and also thank you for everyone who reaches out to me and sent me the story, and because they were Brazilians, they translated the story so I can report on it and share it with you. Once again, thank you for all of you. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.